everybody. This is Heather, your host for UnitWise, and I am here with Tina Frantz. Tina, if you want to go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
So we have Tina here today, and we're going to be going over her story, a brief overview of UnitWise, and a Q&A with her to see what her story is and how she got started. To give you a brief overview of UnitWise, UnitWise is an all-in-one business management program that puts optimal organization and planning at your fingertips, and it was designed specifically for Mary Kay communities. And we have tons of features, specifically email marketing, and that allows you to reach a broad audience to promote, send to individuals and even groups. You can even have the option to schedule up to 2 years in advance. A lot of our users love that feature. It's one of our most popular features. Another great feature we have is the text blast, and that allows you to reach a broader audience in a matter of seconds, and it goes straight to your unit's phone or your customer's phone, and it allows you to get directly in contact with them. And they allow you to create text blast groups, even remind your team about the next unit meeting, and so on and so forth. Another great feature that I want to tell you everybody about is our conference calling. And conference calling is a free conference calling feature that's included in your UnitWise subscription at no extra cost, and allows you to get personalized training or even record a special Mary Kay inspiration video or audio with your team members to get them hyped up about their upcoming goals for the month, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to turn it over to Tina. I'm going to play a brief introduction video about Tina's story and just a brief overview of how she got started.
Tina Frantz started her Mary Kay business in December of 2005, just to make a little extra money. Her husband Brian and her two children, Alex and Dakota, became her reason to pursue Mary Kay as a career in January of 2009. Since then, she has earned the use of 6 free Mary Kay cards, including 4 pink satellites. Our world-class unit has earned over 35 free cards in the last 6 years. Tina has trips all over the nation and the world. Her most recent to Hawaii on an all-expenses paid trip to 4 seasons in beautiful Maui, and a 5-star stay in Beijing with the trip to the Great Wall of China as the highlight. Tina also recently earned a luxury vacation to Rome, Italy, where she will tour the Colosseum and visit the historic and beautiful Sistine Chapel, which has been a dream of hers for over a decade. Her highest income in Mary Kay has been over $18,000 for just 1 month. In one of her favorite Mary Kay memories, being nominated by her peers for the monthly Go Give Award for September of 2014, which is one of the most prestigious awards in all of Mary Kay. Tina enjoys working her business from home and loves passing on this opportunity to others. Her motto is, "I'll believe in you until you believe in you." Her mission is to build confidence in others and to mentor women to see their full God-given potential. She's fun, she is sassy, and she brings life into any room. Please welcome Satellite Sales Director, Tina Frantz.
Okay, Tina, if you want to go ahead and take the wheel, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yay! Hi, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. This is like my first time using this specific broadcast type webinar, but I'm really excited to be with you guys. And a couple things that I want to share with you is just how I use UnitWise first off, and then I'm going to share with you, just a little bit about how I got to where I am in Mary Kay, and a little bit about my journey. I know you saw some of it on the YouTube link there, but I'll kind of give you a little bit of my journey and then share with you some advice that I have for you. So the first thing is, how do I use UnitWise? And I've been with UnitWise for several years now, and I really like it for communication purposes, just to keep connection with my unit, my team, other directors. It's just a great way to stay linked up. And the other things I love about UnitWise is that I can put training on there. I can connect Google Docs to it. I can do surveys. I can do registration with my unit. I love the calendar that I can schedule activities and everybody knows what's going on for the month, all the monthly activities and meetings and things that are going on. So I love to use it as a hub where everyone can get all the information that they need for my own personal website. I also love the text blast feature. It's great when you have a large team or a big unit. And I also love the conference call features and then the ability to send emails. So it's just an all-around great way to use for your business. It's just a great way to keep you organized and to stay in communication. I'm a big believer in communication and staying connected. I think that's one of the reasons why I've been so successful, and UnitWise helps you do that. And so that's kind of the main reasons that I love it and why I use it and how I use it. And I got to where I am in Mary Kay a couple different ways. I think the main thing that I focused on in building my business with Mary Kay was really never giving up. That was my big mantra, is just not giving up no matter how hard things got, or even just how just the ups and downs of your emotions and stuff like this. I just realized I'm just not going to give up. I'm just not a quitter, because quitting is for quitters, and I'm not a quitter. So I think that was one. And then also just having a dream in front of me all the time. I always had, the goal posters, the pictures of the things that were important to me, my motivation, my children, pictures around me, so I knew why, reminded myself why I was doing it. And I think copycatting also helped me. I always joke with people, it's okay to copycat as long as you copy the right cat. And so I think following someone who's been successful ahead of me also really helped me kind of move from starting as a brand new scared to death consultant to a top trip winning sales director who's working on her national area. So also consistency. My new hashtag right now is obnoxious consistency, and I've been teaching my girls that as well. Like, that is one thing that really leads to success in Mary Kay, is just to have that, not the stop, start, or go, 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 and then stop, 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 or perfect start, perfect stop, none of that. That can lead to exhaustion, and I don't do exhaustion. So obnoxious consistency is kind of our new hashtag, and it's something that I think is a success principle when you're building a Mary Kay business. So a little bit about my journey. I started over 10 years ago with Mary Kay. I was in my early 20s with a newborn, and that's enough to just feel like you're busy 24/7 when you're keeping a newborn alive. And so I started Mary Kay. My husband was working full-time. I was also volunteering at my church as a worship leader, and when Mary Kay came into my life, I wasn't really looking for another business. I started selling another business, doing something else back when I was in college, and that didn't work out. So I was a little nervous about starting something else, but I loved the products, and I decided to give it a try because I did love the products, and my mom used it, and I knew I could convince my sister too. So after deciding that I was going to go for it, for 3 years I worked Mary Kay part-time around my little child schedule, and then I had another baby, and then I was on bed rest, and life happens. And so Mary Kay was beautiful because I could work it when I could work, and when I needed to set it down, I could because of the flexibility. And then I decided in 2009 that I wanted to make Mary Kay my career. And very shortly after that, we earned our first free car, which was 3 months later. And part of the motivation for that was I wanted to get my husband out of his job, and the other motivation was I didn't want to go back to work. I wanted to be able to be home with my kids and also have a successful career. And I heard Mary Kay directors talk all the time, like, you can have your cake and eat it too. And although I hadn't experienced that in my life yet, I really wanted that. And I saw Leah Lackland, one of my first team members, she kind of took the bull by the horns when she started, and then she just took off with it. And I saw her do it, and that gave me confidence to think, if she do it, then I can do it too. And so within 3 months, I earned my first car. 3 months later, became a sales director with Mary Kay, and my husband was able to go part-time. And then 3 months later, he quit his job. So he's been retired now for about almost 8, it'll be 8 years in October, which is insane. And so we work the business now together from home with our 2 kids. My son is going to be 12 and going into middle school, and my daughter is 9 and she's going to 4th grade. And we also have 2 dogs and 7 chickens and a nice, fun little mini fruit and vegetable farm that we take care of on our little piece of land here in Ohio. So it's been cool because then since then we've earned multiple cars, Cadillacs, trips around the world. I've been to Beijing, China with Mary Kay free, which was amazing. Like, I got to climb the Great Wall of China, which was like a top 10 experience I will never forget in my entire life. And then we got to go to Maui, Hawaii, and stay at the Four Seasons, and that was just incredible. Mary Kay's just totally transformed my life and my family's life, and this opportunity is, in my opinion, it's the best in the world. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me in a nutshell, and my advice would be to learn the emotional cycle, learn how your emotions work with anything, not just with this business, but it works just with anything. You get excited about something, and then you get nervous or scared, or some disappointment happens, and you get frustrated, and then you have a decision to make. Am I going to stick with this or not? Am I going to go wah-wah and quit, or am I going to fight for it? And then you get recommitted, and then you're back on top of excited again, and it's important to learn that. The second thing is to reach up when you need help. Don't just sit in a little corner going, what do I do? If you feel stuck, reach up. And then always work in community. Some of the most productive periods of my Mary Kay business has been when I've worked in community, meet people at Panera to do booking calls, or do vendor events together, or show up to anything that's available meeting-wise to go to in my area. I'm there, I'm bringing guests, I'm getting in community, because that's really what motivates you and keeps you going. So I think that's a little bit about me. Did you want to ask me some questions?
Yes. So Tina, what is your greatest motivation? I know you touched base on a little bit of motivation, but what is your greatest motivation that you've had so far in Mary Kay?
Yeah, you know, I feel like when you say what's your greatest motivation, I feel like you're kind of asking me, like, what's my why? Like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I get up and do this every single day, and what keeps me going? And honestly, it's my family. It's the vision that I have for my life that God has placed on my heart. I feel like God has given me this business for a very specific reason. I have a purpose in this company to bless the lives of women, and while doing so, blessing my family and building our dream life. And so the motivation that I hold on to is, number one, the fact that I feel like God called me to this business, and he has a very specific purpose and plan for me to bless women and to let them know that they can have a dream life. They really can. And that it is possible. It takes work, but it's possible, and it's so much more fun, and it's so worth it than working for someone else, or from just giving up on your dreams. So I would say that, and then two, my family, just my kids, like, seeing them every day, and seeing how they've changed already because of the confidence that Mary Kay has given me has been a huge motivation to me. A quick story, like, when I was growing up, I would have never in a million years, like in a million bajillion years, ever tried out for student council at school. Like, it just wasn't my style. I didn't like to put myself out there. I wasn't like the one to stand up in front of class and do a presentation. And my both kids actually last year both went out for student council, and I was like surprised. I was so shocked, and I was just like, wow, it's crazy, because I would have never done that. But I know that the reason they even went out for that was because of the confidence that they've seen their mama grow in over the last few years. And funny thing was, well, Alex and Dakota, my kids, they both went out for student council, and they were in 2 different grades. And they had to write a little, presentation. And so the day of the presentation was also the day of voting for who gets on student council. And they both wrote their little speeches. And my son, he dressed up in a suit and a bow tie. I mean, he looked so good. And Dakota, she dressed up in a dress for her presentation. And I was anxiously waiting for them to get home. And when I was just waiting to see, because I just wanted to know if they both got on the student council. And, they both got home, and Dakota walked in with a huge smile on her face, but she didn't say anything. She was very calm and collective, and she went into her room and started doing her homework, and I'm like, that's weird. And then Alex came in, and he was just sobbing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she didn't make it. And I had one of those heart-to-hearts with him, like, it's okay, you did the right thing, and you went for it anyway, and even though you didn't get it, that's okay. I'm just so proud of you that you went. And he said, some of the kids that got on, they cheated, they did stuff they weren't supposed to, like bribing people to vote for them and handing out candy, and I followed the rules, and I didn't get it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm proud of you for following the rules and not getting it, and I think that you can hold your head high tomorrow knowing that you did the right thing. And it was just really cool to see, because the very next day he got dressed up in a different suit and he walked to school with his head held high and didn't like have a sulky face or a bad attitude. He had a great attitude, and even some of the teachers commented to me and said, your son is so confident, and I'm so proud of him for coming to school the next day after not winning the election and still just being so supportive of all the kids that did. And I'm like, that's the Mary Kay training. Like, that's it. Like, that's coming from Mary Kay. I was so proud of him. So that would be my motivation, my kids, and then my purpose with the calling God has on my heart.
That's a really great story, especially the one about your kids. That just melted my heart. But I don't have any kids, but if I did, I would want them to be like that. The next question we have is, what are your other hobbies besides Mary Kay that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I'm in a band, so I sing and I play guitar and drums, and we do shows every once in a while. I'm also a worship leader at my church, and I lead worship for my church. I'm actually the worship director, which is kind of a time-consuming position also, and then I also run and work out. Like I love to run and work out, and I'm in a kickboxing class that I'm obsessed with, which is really fun. And on top of all of that, we also have a pretty big like fruit and vegetable garden. We have our house. We have property that has cherry trees and raspberry vines and apple trees and peach tree and kiwi vines and goji berries and blueberries, and we just have a lot of that. And then we also have a big vegetable garden with, I mean, every vegetable you could think of is probably in it. So we do a lot of, this time of year we're really busy harvesting and picking and pickling. We're pickling a bunch of cucumbers right now. So that's also a hobby of mine, because I'm a vegetable and fruit enthusiast. I love fresh homegrown fruits and veggies, and so that's like super time consuming, which is another reason I love Mary Kay, because I'm able to do things I love and stuff that I'm passionate about while I do my business and have a family, which is really fun. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Another question that we have for you is, how does Mary Kay inspire you? You talk about your family, you talked about your kids and how that's your motivation. Are these also the reason that Mary Kay inspires you to be better in the business?
You know, one thing that I love about Mary Kay that inspires me is the 4 foundational beliefs that Mary Kay is founded on. There's not a company that I've ever heard of that share these foundational like belief system, and that's the golden rule, you know, treating others the way you want to be treated, the work-life balance of putting your faith first, your family second, career third, the make me feel important rule, where we treat everyone like they have a sign around their neck that says make me feel important, and the go give spirit, where, you know, when you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. And to see that in Mary Kay, not just to hear about it, but to see it play out in the company and have so many examples of successful women that lead really awesome, balanced lives with their families. I mean, that's what inspires me. And I want more people to see the work-life balance, the belief system, just the priority system that you can have in Mary Kay, where without having to sacrifice, you know, income or time away from your family or your faith. I mean, you can really have it all. And I think Mary Kay, being in Mary Kay and that culture, and we just have a unique culture, and it inspires me to bring my family up in that culture and also to pass it on to others around me.
That's very good. I like the fact that you touched on the 4 foundations of Mary Kay, because that's a really great system to have, and that's really good to see it all played out. I've actually seen it in action, so it's really cool as a company to see them so into giving others a great opportunity to do better for themselves, and also they're just really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Another great question that we have for you is, what was the greatest challenge that you faced in Mary Kay?
That's a really good question, and I definitely faced some challenges, and and it's almost hard to pick one because I've had a couple, especially recently. But every time you have a challenge in a business or in personal life, that's when I think the Lord works on you the most, and you come out of it as such a stronger person. You know that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
It's so true on like all fronts. But I would, if I had to give two examples, the first one would be a personal life example. This past year, I lost a lot of family members. I had to do a lot more funerals than I've ever done in my life, and it was a hard year emotionally for me to just have so many people that were so near and dear to my heart pass away. And that was just kind of a hard season of life for me to try to manage my emotions while running a business. And in general, it's hard anyway when you lose people, but when you lose several people all within the same 9 months, it does affect you, I think. And so that was a really, really challenging 9 months for me. But what I gained coming out of it is some emotional coping mechanisms that really helped me and that I can pass on to other people. Also just learning perseverance and learning to lean in to God on when you have tough times. Just really lean in, because when you come out of that time, you're going to be able to share with other people and really encourage them when they're going through the tough times. I always am so grateful afterwards, because I'm now I have some more tools in my tool belt to help other people get through challenges. And so that was one of them. And the other one was I had a series of women in my life that were in my Mary Kay business that just decided to take a step back for one reason or the other. They had family this or they had a health issue or just a different direction they were going in their life. And it happened kind of all at once, and that was a little challenging for me too, because I thought that I was going to be with them forever. And so anytime you have somebody that you think you see in your future as a part of your business for a long time, and they just don't have the same vision for their life, sometimes it kind of hurts. And I have so much love to give that I sometimes overgive my love, and then I always feel a little bit bad if I overdo it, and then I feel like sometimes, that it hurts when people go or when they make a different decision. But one thing I learned out of that is that I know that I'm supposed to be here, and it's okay that if others in the business, they try it for a year, they try it for longer than that or even less than that. Everyone has their own journey with Mary Kay, and I just want to be able to give them something that will bless their lives while they're in, whether they're in it for a minute or for a lifetime. I just want to be a blessing to those people and those women, and that's something that I came out of it saying that God has the people that He wants to work to be in my life. He already knows who they are, and that's okay. And they're the best ones for my business, for my area, for my team, for my future national area, and I have to be okay with that. And I'm just going to do my job and stop worrying about so much what other people are doing, but just worry about what I'm doing and how I can bless others. And when I think about that, it just brings so much joy to my life. And when I think about all the things I love about this business, it makes the challenges a lot easier. So I would say those two things.
Okay. I just want to say sorry for your loss. I know that I would have had especially have difficulties if I was losing them close like that.
Yeah.
But
it was tough.
Like you said, you came out stronger, and
yep,
your business is probably better for it. So.
Absolutely. It totally is. It really is. It really is.
Another question we have for you is, what was the best advice you ever received?
See, that's really hard, because I've been given a lot of good advice, and the one thing I love about Mary Kay is we're given these beautiful mentors in the company, whether it's your recruiter or your director, your national, or even if it's someone else's national that is your mentor or whatever. I actually mentor quite a few women that aren't even in my unit or in my area, and I love the fact that that's why the Go Give Spirit is so cool. I would say there's three things that really stick out to me as a great advice that I've been given. The first one was, really put your faith first. And I always spend time with the Lord in the morning, but it seems like when I get myself off to a good start and really seek my faith first, that things just work a little bit better, and I'm more joyful, and I'm more peaceful, and I'm not worried at all. I don't worry so much when I'm connected that way. And to love people, like love people for where they're at, not where you want them to be, but love them where they're at. And loving them where they're at can help them move to where they want to go. And then to put yourself in other people's shoes more. I think sometimes we're all brought up differently, and we all have different backgrounds and different belief systems, and sometimes we don't understand, other people, and we're working in a people business. And so I always tell my girls, like, just really try to put yourself in other people's shoes. That was great advice given to me, and it helps me communicate better. It helps me, just be able to say, I get it, I understand, or I can see where you're coming from. And then it's just a great way to communicate all around, especially if you have a team or a unit. And then my last one would say, this is my like go-to best advice ever. If you feel stuck, reach up. Like, don't talk to your sister who isn't in Mary Kay and doesn't really have no idea how the system works and just wants you to be happy. Don't necessarily talk to, someone who's not doing well in Mary Kay either. Go to someone who's been there, done that, and they could write a book on the stuckness that you're experiencing, and they got through it, and now they've earned a car or earned a trip or something. That's the best advice I could ever give anybody, is to, if you feel stuck, reach to someone above you in the business that's been there, done that, and has conquered it and has moved it and can help you with it. And that's my all-time best advice, I think, that I've been given, and I do use it all the time.
That's really great advice, too. I've done Mary Kay before, and I've actually never heard that advice, but it's something that I wish someone would have given me, because it would definitely have helped me. So that is really great advice that someone's given you. The last question we want to ask you is, what is your favorite place you visited?
Well, that may change after this year, because we just finished a trip to Rome, and I'll be going to Rome for the first time, which is so exciting. But as of right now, if I had to pick a place that's been my most favorite place that I visited, it was probably Maui, Hawaii, at the Four Seasons, because we got to swim with the sea turtles and kayak in the ocean, and it was just the most beautiful place on earth. I have never been anywhere more beautiful than Hawaii, and I don't know if that will change, because even everybody I've talked to that have gone lots of other places, they still say Hawaii is their favorite because of the just beauty of it. And I will be going back there. I can tell you that right now. I'm going back to Hawaii soon. I must go back because it was so beautiful, and I want to take my husband, and I think I actually want to take my kids this time because they're getting old enough to where they would really enjoy it. But I am going to Rome this fall, and so I will let you know if that changes, because I've always wanted to see the Sistine Chapel, and the top directors have asked me to sing Ave Maria in the cathedral, so we'll see how that goes. That might be my new favorite. We'll see.
It sounds fun. If I had been to all those places, I'm sure Hawaii would have been my favorite, just swimming with dolphins or the sea turtles or anything like that. I've heard great things about Hawaii, so that's a really great place that I would have to agree with you on, is Hawaii, because it's so beautiful. But I just want to thank you for, co-hosting this webinar and taking time out of your busy day to do this with me. And it was really fun learning everything you've gone through, to your advice, how you got started. And it was a really great co-host webinar that I think is going to help and benefit other Mary Kay people in the community out there. And I also want to thank everyone who attended this webinar, or even those who's going to watch this in the future. And if you ever have any questions, or you get stuck with UnitWise or anything like that, just give us a call or email us. We're always happy to help. And also just follow us on social media. And like Tina said, if you get stuck in Mary Kay, just reach up and, talk to your directors, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you through it. And I think that is all. Tina, if you want to say bye to everybody.
Yes, I will. Thanks everybody for being on, and I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for listening.